If you see in our last class, we have gone through polymorphism, that is method overloading and method overriding. So after looking into these two things, I said we will have to go for abstraction. Fine. But before going for abstraction, let me touch upon the last program where we have stopped our discussion in the previous session. So basically, constructor overriding is what we are trying to understand in our previous program. Constructor, first of all, overriding means what? A method or a constructor which is got defined in superclass. The same constructor you are going to redefine in subclass, or the same method you are going to redefine in subclass. Okay, so this is called method overriding or constructor overriding. So now I would like to differentiate constructor overriding and method overriding, and would like to, already you have taken these two programs, but i would like to show I would like to show how to access superclass constructor using subclass. It's not how to access. Let's say you can straight away take program accessing superclass constructor using subclass object. Okay, how to access superclass constructor using subclass object. So for you to make understand in a fresh way, let me write a fresh program. Forget about yesterday's logic and all. So first, let's define a constructor in a program, in a class, in constructor of X. Okay. Now what I am saying, I am going to define a subclass which is extending our class X, and in subclass also I am defining my constructor. Fine. So in const of Y. So fine. When I create object of Y class, automatically subclass constructor gets execute, is what our learning from our previous session. Correct? Is what our learning from our previous session. Am I right? Okay, in const of Y. So this will get execute, but not superclass constructor. Okay, so here somebody is asking a question: how to execute superclass constructor? Okay, how to execute superclass constructor? How come you can execute superclass constructor? You cannot, right? You have already overridden this logic only here. Are you understanding? Overriding means what? You are writing one line in your notebook, and the same line you are erasing with your eraser, and then you are writing new line, right? How you could able to see the erased line? That's what the concept is. How can I able to see the old logic? But there is a provision for you in Python to see old logic as well. So what is that? Is so basically super method. Okay, so super method helps in accessing the superclass properties, be it can be a constructor or method, anything. Okay, so let me modify that. Super dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore open close. Okay, so remember here, no need of self. Okay, already self variable is coming from the constructor. Okay, so no need of self while you are trying to access superclass constructor using subclass object. So where I am writing this super method, we will always write in subclass. Okay, not in superclass. Okay, so now if I call y1 is equals to y, control a s, object got created, automatically constructor gets execute. But what happens, you see the output of previous output and this output, you have got both the constructor got executed, right? So earlier, when there was no line, when there is no line, Control S F5, only child class constructor is getting execute. When you are trying to put super method and call your constructor, both child class as well as parent class constructors are getting executed. Okay, so what is the point to notice? Okay, what we have noticed is only parent class constructor we cannot execute using super method. Okay, in the sense, whenever you are using super method, both the class constructor gets execute. Okay, only parent class constructor cannot execute using, okay, in method overriding concept, in constructor overriding concept. Okay, fine. So this is what you have to take. And so same applies for, okay, quickly take this. We can see same in for methods also. Just take this program. Taken along with comments. Shall I proceed? So point is, to execute superclass properties, mandatorily you have to go through subclass constructor, subclass properties in general, if I have to speak. Okay, so Control N, Control S. So super method to access super class methods using subclass object. Okay, using sub 1 second, using subclass objects. Okay, in method overriding concept. In method overriding concept. See, if method overriding is not there, you don't have to go for super. Am I right? I will show that. You have to realize that. You have to understand that. See, M1, you have self in M1 of X. Okay, so this is super class and this is subclass. And you see, if method overriding, is this the method overriding concept? Don't take this program, just see. Is this is method overriding concept? Tell me. Y1 dot y1 is equals to y. Now y1 dot m1 m2 automatically current class method. Y1 dot m1, so super class method, both will work. Correct. Control S. One sec. F5, run module. You see both methods are working in M2 of Y, in M1 of X. So this is a simple inheritance concept. But what we are studying is method overriding. We are into the concept of method overriding. Means what? Writing same method name in superclass and rewriting the same in writing a method in superclass, taking the same method, rewriting the logic in subclass. That is what method overriding. So in this case, obviously new output will come. How to see old output is what the concept, like last program. Okay. So control S FFI, you see in M1 of Y is coming. How to see in M1 of X output, sir? What I'm saying is alone you cannot see in M1 of X output. You have to see in M1 of X output via in M1 of Y output. So same syntax, super dot M1 control S F5. Clear? So basically you have to write this line in the subclass M1 method. Okay. So then only you could able to access your superclass properties, that is method in this case. Okay. So just take this. Excuse me. Fine guys, shall I proceed? Okay. Let me go ahead. So basically super helps in accessing superclass constructor or method constructors or methods using subclass objects. Okay, using subclass objects in overriding concept. Okay, in overriding concept, or else in method or constructor overriding concept. If this method or constructor overriding concept is not there, it's as usual inheritance concept, we call that. But super method helps only in method overriding or constructor overriding concept. Fine. Okay. So this is what about all your polymorphism, and let's move to the last chapter of OOPS, last concept of OOPS, that is abstraction. People call abstraction, people call data abstraction, or people call data hiding. Okay, data hiding or concept of security in OOPS, right? So anything is fine. All leads to only one concept, that is abstraction. Okay, so now let me try to highlight what is abstraction. So basically, you should tell me. You must have heard paper presentation journals, right? So they will usually give deadline. Okay, let's say in January paper presentation is there. So what they say is by November 30 you have to submit your paper, right? Submit your paper or abstract. Do they say paper or abstract? You have to submit abstract, not paper, correct? So November 30 if you submit abstract, by December 30, they will evaluate and tell whether you are approved to present or not in that so and so conference. Have you ever heard this kind of discussion? Right, being you all engineering students, you must have heard, right? So basically, paper presentation means you don't have to show entire your paper, rather they expect only abstract. Okay, if you have to explain in a very layman terms, people give only in film industry, people will give only trailer for you. By seeing trailer, they try to bring you to the theater, correct? So trailer is like 2 minutes of entire movie, whereas movie is of 2 hours plus. So that giving trailer means they are abstracting the entire movie in that. In the sense, they are hiding the important concept of the movie, right? They are not showing entire movie, rather they are giving only small trailer. Okay, by seeing that you will understand, oh, this movie is of faction movie, or else this movie is like, the genre of the movie you will get to know by seeing the 2 minutes of trailer, but you will not able to speak entire what happens in the entire movie. So they are hiding the data and giving only trailer to you, correct? Likewise, in paper presentation also, you might be having 10 pages of paper, but you are requested to submit only half a page of abstract, hardly one page, one side of the page, not more than that. Am I right? So abstract means hiding. That's what you have to understand. So in layman, you have understood abstract. So in class concept, what is abstraction? How do we provide is what you need to get. So you will define a class here. Okay, one second. Okay, so let us say you will define a class here. What happened? Okay, so your class X, fine. And here two variables are there, and let's say two methods are there. Imagine. Okay. Now this spot is called outside of class. Am I right or wrong? Right? After defining your class with some static variables and some methods, okay, you come out of the class. Now what you have to ensure is, whenever somebody called m1 outside of class, okay, outside of class, okay, it should not work. Okay, till now y x1 equals to x, x1 dot m1, till now y1 equals to y, y1 dot m1, this kind of lines you have written in all programs, right? So this I'm talking about, right? This is outside of class. So y1 dot m1, okay, in all our programs, whenever you call methods, it worked. But from now on, outside of classes, it should not work. Okay, outside of classes, it should not work. So how that is going to happen? You, as a developer, you should define your properties in your class in such a way that outside of class, no one should be able to access my class properties, be it method or variable. Okay, right? So that is what the concept of abstraction. Okay, so just a sec. Sorry, so there was some disturbance. So right, now you understood, right? Basically, class properties no one should access outside of the class. So that's what the concept of abstraction. Okay, just to take a couple of lines. So the concept of hiding the properties of a class, the concept of hiding properties of a class is known as abstraction. It's a very simple concept in Python. Okay, we can complete in another 15-20 minutes, not more than that. Okay, the concept of hiding properties of a class is known as abstraction. We can hide properties of a class with a by using by using underscore. Okay, I'm just erasing. I hope you have taken this rough work. Okay, so we can hide properties of a class by using underscore. Okay, in braces write down two underscores. Okay, right. Now let us go ahead and see the program. So abstraction x1. Okay, so just take this. I think still somebody are taking. Okay, so class x, now your class has got a equals to 1000 and b is equals to 2000. Now self m1, it is open method, anyone can access. Okay, now you see x1 equals to x, right? Okay, so within the method, how can I access my a? Tell me. Print x dot a comma x dot b. Am I right with the class name? Because a and b are static variables. So I have created object. Now how to call my method x1 dot m1, right? So how to call my variables print x dot a, right? And then print x dot b. Fine. So you see, as of now, you don't find any errors in the program. Why? Because tell me what's happening here. One second. See, first line gets execute in the program is what? This line. Object gets created. Second line x dot a. So 1000 is getting displayed. Next x1 dot m1. So m1 is there. M1 method. Two lines are getting execute here, right? You have printed one statement and then couple of static variables you have accessed, and so then last line is x dot b. So this is the usual program. So where is the abstraction I have shown here? I have not shown any abstraction as of now. Now you see, I would like to do a small change to my program. This b is a very crucial variable. Nobody should access outside of class. Just imagine. Okay. This b is a very crucial variable. No one should access outside of class. So if that is the case, you have to put underscore b. So now this is logged. Okay. Logged to, okay, or else secured. Just write down secured. Okay, so what happens when you write underscore underscore b? Now you see, I am going to call that underscore underscore b in outside of class as well as within the class. Okay, am I right? Underscore underscore b. This is right calling on b static variable within the class, and what is this calling static variable outside of class? Control S. When I do F5, you see what happens. What happened? Tell me. Okay, so object got created. Print x dot a. You have got your x dot a. You have got your 1000 printed. X1 dot m1. So m1 both x and underscore underscore b, that's what, a and underscore underscore b values got printed. In the sense, in the class this is working. Whenever I write underscore underscore before any variable name, it is secured, is what I'm saying. Secured means what? In the class it is accessible, but outside of class it is not going to be shown. So that is the reason print x uh, underscore b, x dot underscore b is leading to error, whereas it is not showing any output. Correct. So this is the way you will have to secure your static variables using this specific syntax called underscore underscore. Okay, right. Now just take this, and I will show another program with methods. Or else you can take this program only. This is not any great concept, very simple concept. See, underscore underscore m2 I will write self print in m2 which is secured. Okay, which is secured method. Okay, which is secured method. Now you see, secured method, its meaning is we cannot able to access outside of class, right? So outside of class, m1 I managed to access. You saw just now this line is not going to execute. So let me comment this line, and then let me try to call now my secured method. What is that secured method? Underscore underscore m2. Correct. Okay, so let me check whether this is working or not. Control S F5. Right. Can you see that your interpreter is not able to recognize any property which comes up with underscore underscore? So that is how it is being designed. If any property you add one underscore, it will be accessible, but two underscores it will not be accessible by Python interpreter. Okay, so this is also error. Okay, am I right? Or else you can straight away say here itself error. And okay, understood. So we cannot access class properties outside of class if we put underscore underscore syntax behind. Fine, all good. Okay, so I don't know whether you have seen Boys movie or not. 10 years before it has come, right? There is a song in that. How many of you remember that? Uh, Break the rules. Okay, so so it's like, we make the rules. The person who break the rules and make the rules, right? It's a saying, right? Who makes the rules? Okay, they only break the rules, right? You know this statement saying, correct? So likewise, Guido van Rossum has given a secret uh, syntax for us. Underscore underscore, if you put to any variable, that variable gets secured. You cannot able to access outside of class. And the same fellow has given another syntax for us. Even though these variables are secured, we have designed a new syntax using with that new syntax, we can able to access those secured variables also. Okay, but that is the special syntax. Not all people will get to know. Okay, only people who learn Python, for them only, I'm going to say. So this is what Guido van Rossum is saying. Okay, I'm just kidding. You Google it, you'll get to know. Point is, you have to go and learn another syntax to open up the secured properties as well. Okay, so now this is going to be our example 2 program. Okay, so version 2. Okay, example 2. What is that example 2? I will just change only few things, but I request you guys to write program second time, because here you are going to come across the new syntax. So when I am writing the second time, I have to make comment these 2 lines. Okay, same program, couple of variables, couple of methods, in which one is secret, one is not secret. So whenever you are trying to access your secret, that's what there is a special syntax properties. Your interpreter is not allowing you to access, right? So a special syntax to access secured properties in Python. Okay, what is that special syntax? So let's try that with x1 dot. When you call this x1 dot underscore underscore m2, what's happening? It is not working, correct? So when this x1 dot underscore underscore is not working, what are we going to do? See, x1 dot underscore x. One second. So what you're going to design is, x. Wait. That's the reason you have to go for idle. Okay, I will show x1. When you put dot, it is showing only a and m1, but not b and m2. Okay, so when I put uh, score x, one sec. Mhm. Yes. So in M2, which is secured method. So basically, what you have managed, tell me, though there is a secured property in our program, in our class, we can access that. We cannot access that with a normal object name dot method name. Okay, with the normal syntax, you cannot access. So what you have to do is, see, what is the change you are bringing in here. You have to understand what the change you are bringing in. Tell me. Just I'm trying to make you understand the syntax. Okay, so x1 dot x1 dot. Okay, and underscore underscore m2 underscore underscore m2. And where is the new syntax you are bringing in, sir? You are bringing in underscore class name. So reference variable name dot underscore class name and your property name. Obviously property name contains couple of underscores. You got it? So the moment when you give your underscore class name syntax with your secret properties, automatically your interpreter can able to recognize your secret properties. So this is what we have seen. Now by seeing this line, you have to tell me how can I call my b x1 dot underscore x underscore b, right? Control S F. Can you see that now I have managed to bring in the secured properties of my class, both underscore b as well as underscore m2, right? So this is what the another specific syntax which we have to learn in Python to bring out the secret data. Okay, so just take this program. So we are left over with one small concept, so that we can wind up the oops. If you are done, then I will proceed with the next program. Okay, shall I proceed? Okay, now let me go ahead. So if as long as if you don't know the syntax of a special syntax, then the secure methods are the methods are secured only. No, Sakit. So just what is a self? I think I have explained self many a times, but write down couple of lines about self because we are going to see a concept which is inclined with this. Okay, so what is self? Self refers to current class object. Okay, self refers to current class object address. Am I right or wrong? Self refers to current class object address. Okay, now whenever you write in our program self dot a and self dot b, what is the meaning? Tell me. Hmm? In the object address, these variables a and b will go and sit. Am I right? In the object address, these variables a and b will go and store. Fine. That's what I was being telling to you in like from starting. Am I right? So whenever you write your x1 is equals to x, right, in your code, what happens? A new object gets generated, and this object indirect address will go and store here, and this will go and store in your methods self comma a and b. So this will bring in a and b to into our program. Correct. Self dot a self dot b, you remember? Okay, many a times I said. Correct. Self is like an Uber. It acts like it knows where is the object located in the memory, and self bring in a and b to the object. A and b I compared with the small kids like you, right? So students, those who wants to go to railway station, so this is what the railway station, and self is like Uber car, a and b are you. Okay, and next one is your father. So I told you this example if you remember. So basically self dot a self dot b means it is storing these two variables in the object address. So this is what the technically concept is. Now we have to go ahead and understand. Now we have to go ahead and understand one last and important concept: types of methods. Okay, so if you remember, the very first session class has got three variables and three methods is what I have told you. And three variables are static variables, non-static variables, and local variables. And three methods are what? Non-static methods, static methods, and class methods. So we have not discussed about this non-static methods, static methods, and class methods. Okay, right. So these are the three important methods. Methods can be written in three different types in Python. So you have to understand all these things. So one hint for you, right? So till now, whatever we have seen methods, those are all non-static methods. And 90%, 95% of the time in real time, we work on non-static methods only. Non-static methods are instance methods or object methods. Okay, object data is very important, right? So we work a lot with non-static methods. Static methods, okay. So this we don't have any other name. So static variables are class variables basically. So but class static methods and non class methods are little different. So basically, what are non-static methods? We'll try to understand. Okay, so just so write down some points. Non-static method of a class should contain at least one parameter. Okay, so what is that we are being giving? Self. Okay, just for your understanding, right? Non-static parameters of a non-static methods of a class should contain at least one parameter, that is self. Non-static methods of a class should be called from outside of the class, should be called from outside of the class by using reference variable. Okay, by using reference variable, that's what you have been using, x1 y1, these are all reference variables. Okay, so whenever we call a method by using reference variable, the address of a reference variable, the address of a reference variable, or else you can write like this: the address which is present in reference variable, the address which is present in reference variable will be passed to the first. This is very very important line, you see, this is passed to the first parameter of that method. So address will be passed to the first parameter of that method. Okay, right. Right, so let's go ahead and see the example. So non-static method, see, class x. So self, till now you're asking, sir, why we have to write self? With this concept you should be so much clear. I have already explained in bits and pieces in previous classes, but I'm focusing on only self in this program. Please see, m1 of self, okay, comma a I'm giving. So what happens here, you have it is showing couple of parameters, and I told you have to always consider self as like default. You should not consider it as like a formal parameter, right? A only is what the parameter you have to consider, is what I always keep on say, right? So what is there in that self and what is there in this A, let's print and we'll try to understand. Okay, right? So you see I'm just calling x1 equals to x. The moment when I call x1 equals to x, what happens, its objects, it object gets generated, correct? So now x1 dot m1 of I'm giving 1000. So what is the meaning of this 1000, tell me? So what happens here, tell me? First of all, x1 equals to x, object gets create, and its object indirect address is going and sitting in this reference variable. So the moment when you call x1 dot m1, okay, so m1 method is invoked, so m1 method should execute. So your x1 will go and put indirect address in the first parameter of your method. So this is called instance method. Okay, instance method. In the instance methods, first parameter is always current class object address. So x1 contains address. Now we are pushing off to the self parameter, that is first parameter. Understanding is first parameter. Okay, it can be now. So I will explain. Wait, you see now a is what? A is 1000 which you are passing. A, this is actual value, like method concept, function concept only. Function calling actual value, you this 1000 will go and sit in A, right? Okay. So now you see whenever I execute this program, one sec. F. Okay, what is happening here? If you see, huh? I have, okay. Let me also write down print x1. So couple of times you can see the same object address. Okay, so A908 is not, first A908 is what, this line, right? Correct. Second A908 line is what, this self, correct? So x1 is pushing the its address in the first parameter of your method. Okay, and you understood 1000 we are passing to m1 while calling, this has gone and set in A, and that A1000 is displaying here, print A, correct? Okay, now my $1000 question is, okay, $1000 question is, or $1 lakh question is, okay, in interviews people will ask this question, okay, is writing self in methods is mandate? Tell me, is writing self parameter, okay, let me write like this, writing self as parameter in methods is mandate? Okay, so what is your answer, tell me? What is your answer, tell me? I want you to see, you to type in the chat and let me know, do we have to really write self or not? Okay, so few people all are saying yes excepting one girl. Okay, Aishwarya is saying no, rest all saying yes. Ritika is also saying no. So if you don't write self, then what do you wanted to write, tell me? Where do you want to go ahead and push off your object indirect address? So let me tell you, you see, okay, so see what I was telling you. Okay, thanks for your responses. What I was telling right from starting, every non-static method should contain self as like parameter. Okay, self as like parameter, minimum one parameter, that is mandatory, that is self. Other than self, did I use any word? No, always I used self. self. So to define class, other than class word, did I used any word? No, I used CLASS only. And to define method or function, did I used any word? No, I have used only DEF. Sir, you are saying to define class, CLASS is a mandatory, word you have to write. To define method, DEF is a mandatory word you have to write. To write one parameter in the method, SCLF, you are asking me to write mandatorily, right? Am I right or wrong? Till now, all methods we have written self is like mandatory parameter. So smart student is asking doubt, sir, if self is right, mandatorily we have to write in methods means why is not in orange color? You understood my point? Orange colors are standards. Okay, so they are keywords. Okay, so they are proper keywords in Python. Okay, they are like reserved keywords. Okay, so you have to write this point. Okay, class is a reserved keyword in Python. Okay, reserved keywords, you Google it, you'll get some 30 40 different words in Python, like in, not in. Okay, you've been seeing, right? So sir, self is also must be in orange color. Whenever if you are saying self is mandate for all methods means it should display in orange color, right? Why it is in black color? Whenever if it is in black color, it is just a tag, it is just a normal variable. Can I write SEL? Is there any problem, sir? Can I write SCL? You see, I told you till now all methods self only. Now first time I am writing by removing F. Control S, F5. You see, 100% my program is working fine. Okay. So what is the understanding? No need to write self as parameter in methods. In the sense I am focusing on word self. You should not really have to maintain SCLF all the time. Whatever you want you write, but ensure of with one parameter minimum. See, SC is also working. Okay, so you remove this two, you put only Q, right? Control S, F5, right? So it is also working. Means what? Point, what the point, the message you have to take is writing self as a parameter is not mandate. Okay, no, it is not mandate. Okay, it is not mandate. We can give whatever the name we want. We can give whatever the name we want, correct? But whatever the name you give, let me interchange. What is happening, sir? Tell me. Now 1000 will come above and address will come below. Point is, any name you can give to the method. Okay, first parameter is treated as like object address. First parameter is the concept. Okay, it's not about the name. I'm talking about instance methods, right? So this is a pure instance method. Instance or non-static or object method. Okay, so basically in the instance methods or object methods, first parameter must be object indirect address. This is how it has been designed. Okay, first parameter you have to leave for me to store object indirect address, and based on your logic you can go ahead and develop other write other parameters. Got it? But writing self is not mandate. You can use any word. If it is mandate, it will display in orange color. No, that basic common sense we should have. Am I right or wrong? So that's what the story about self is. Self writing is not mandate. You can give any name, but but having said self is not mandate technically writing, most of the Python documentation, whenever you see, they will write self only. Okay, SCLF. You just Google it, some Python code. Okay, you just go and see Python documentation. You just go and see Stack Overflow. You go and see some online courses, YouTube videos. Wherever you see object class programming, obviously people will write first parameter as like self only. Whenever you come across such kind of code, you have to laugh yourself, right? These people are just giving self, but that is not mandate. Instead of SCLF we can write anything, but constantly people are habituated to write SCLF. Okay, because for ourselves we should understand, right? Though technically it is you can write anything, but for ourselves, for the viewers, people who are watching program, seeing program, you write program, hundreds of other employees will see your logic, right? So whenever they see SCLF comma a comma b comma x comma y comma, okay, SCLF is meant to store the object address, and x comma y comma z are a comma b are like normal parameters, is what the understanding opposite person should get. That is the reason people are habituated to write SCLF, but the concept is writing SCLF is not mandate. Okay, so this is what your instance methods. Okay, so what is the one ground truth about instance methods? You have to write one parameter that is mandate, and that parameter comes up with the object indirect address. And instance methods we will call with the object reference variables. X1 is a reference variable or not, right? So whenever you are calling your method like this, automatically this comes under instance property only. It is instance method only. Okay, right? So let's proceed with next program, next concept, that is static method. Okay, so just write class method first, not static. Okay, so we'll try to understand first the class method, and then we'll proceed with the static. Okay, so what do you mean by class method, sir? Okay, so I let me give some points about this, and then you can go ahead and you have to go back to one concept called decorators in your Python. You remember decorators concept? So a method which is preceded by at the rate class method decorator is called class method means under above the name of your method there should be a at the rate class method decorator. Okay, right. So here in terms of parameter, what is the difference? Let's try to understand. In class methods there should be one minimum parameter we should define, and that contains contains class name. Okay, that contains class name. Okay, we can call class methods outside of class by using both class name and reference variable. See, here first point is here second point. Please understand, we should non-static method of class should contain at least one parameter. What is that parameter? That parameter is self, which contains object indirect address, So in terms of class methods, one parameter is mandate. What is that parameter? Is going to be a class name, not object indirect address, rather it is class name. Now what is your second parameter, second point here? Outside of class, how do you call? Using reference variable. So how do we call class methods outside of class? By using class name as well as reference variable. Okay, so that's what the difference is. Okay, so whenever we call a class method, whenever we call class method by using class name or reference variable, by using class name or reference variable, by using class name or reference variable, class name is passed as first parameter to the method. Class name is passed as first parameter to that method and executes the method. Okay, right? Okay, so small differences only. Let me show that class method. So x, class x. Now I'm going to define it with one. Okay, so if any method which is comes up with okay, def m1. Now you see x1 equals to x when I do x1 dot m1 when I do what when I print self control s f5. Okay, you see, this is a simple what is that? This is not the example of class method. Actually, this is a simple class program with one method calling, sir. So here what happened? X1 we have called method with a reference variable, right? And so that's the reason your x1 is pushing off its indirect address into self. This is our previous story only, right? Okay, so when is this called as like class method? Okay, so if I remove parameter, what happens? See, expecting 1, 0 was given, expecting 1, correct, 1 was given. So whenever a method is not working with 0 parameters, that method may be a instance method or class method. Okay, see, x, okay, or q, control s f5. So this is okay, whatever you have to write, you have to put that on, right? So this is your previous program only. Again, sir, when you call this method as like class method, whenever you put class method a decorator before the method definition, then this method is going to be a class method. Now you see, if I execute, what happens? See what q contains now. What q contains, x1 dot m1 is what you called. Okay, see, user has called x1 dot m1 and x1 is an object of class x. So it went, and when I tried to executing m1, it understood that before m1 at the rate class method statement is there, decorator is there. So what x1 will do now is, I should not put the indirect address in queue, rather I have to put this class name in queue. Okay, your interpreter is deciding, because this is a class, this is called class method. Okay, this is class method. Why class method, sir? Because there is a decorator before this line. M1 now interpreter treats as like class method, and the first parameter is not going to be the object indirect address, rather first parameter is going to be your class name. Class name, understood? Okay, so every class which is under execution, you call it as like underscore underscore main. Okay, so I told you underscore underscore main underscore underscore is a name of your every class name which is under every program which is under, it's not about class, sorry, it is a program name. You remember when I discussed OS and sys modules, underscore underscore name underscore underscore is a standard variable in, like pi equals to 3.14 22/7, how pi is standard variable, like underscore underscore name underscore underscore, you might have forgotten. Print underscore underscore name underscore underscore. That's it. I am not doing anything. You see what comes in the output. So underscore underscore name underscore underscore is a standard variable in Python in which it contains the current program name. Sir, current program name is x.py. No, I can see on the left top x.py. Why you are saying underscore underscore main underscore underscore? What example I gave to remember this concept? If you really remember, last 10 days before sort of we discussed, 2 weeks days before we discussed this program, this concept. See, all engineering students are students only. Okay, they are called students only, but when they are in principal room, they are heroes and heroines, is what I said. You remember, right? Which student is called hero? Only when they are in the principal room. Means in principal room means you are doing some job. Likewise, all programs are called normal x y z names only, with their own names only. But whenever in my system there are like hundreds of Python programs are there, but all that hundreds of Python programs are under execution mode? No, right? The program which is under execution, when wherever interpreter has come into the picture, the program which is under execution, that is termed as like underscore underscore main underscore underscore main module name we call, right? Okay, fine. Now you see our main underscore underscore main underscore underscore dot class name it is giving, not indirect address. So if any class comes, any method comes up with this syntax, then you should recognize this as like class method, and it stores first parameter as like class name. Okay, right. So one advantage of this method is you can call using this with your class name also. Control S F5. Can you see that using with the class name also it will work? Let me erase all these things. See, using class name also we can call class methods. Okay, this is what the point is. Control S. Okay, in the previous program, I don't know whether I have given or not, non-static. Okay, you see, write down this line x dot m1. Okay, m1 you pass some 100. Control S F5. You see where is that getting hit? X dot m1 is not getting executed. So what is the point? Tell me, what is the point? Using class name, non-static methods will not execute. Am I right or wrong? Using class name, non-static methods will not execute. Right? Please write down this line in your previous program. Okay, using class name, non-static methods will not execute. Only with the reference variables only you can call. This is previous program. One line you please write down. Okay, once after the completion of this, this is the current program. Okay, I think previous program you have taken one line, right? Which using class name also we can call class methods. This is what the point is. Differences. People will expect you to give differences between what is the difference between static method and the class method and non-static method. Okay, these are called class methods, those are called object methods. Okay, right. So the third and the last type, let us go ahead and see. One second. Okay, so let's quickly move on to the third one. Control N, Control S. Static methods. Static methods are what? Let us go ahead and understand now static methods first. Okay, so just take a couple of points about static methods. A method which is preceded by same first point, just to change the decorator. One second. One second, guys. My headset has fallen down. Is it audible? Audible, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. So quickly take. We'll wrap in 10 minutes. Not even that. So static methods. So a method which is preceded by a method which is preceded by. Let me copy paste this, or else let me write down here. What is there? A method which is preceded by at the rate static method decorator is called static method. Okay. Now concept is here. No need to define any parameters in static, any mandatory, I don't, any mandatory parameters in static method. So this is the only method where it does not expect any mandatory parameters for us. Okay, does not expect any mandatory parameters for us, right? So like a class methods, we can call these methods from outside of class by using both class name and reference variable. Okay, okay. So basically at the rate static method, let's go ahead and see one last example. So class X, and what you need to define is, see, let me write first without a static method. So see, I am not giving any parameter. You see, just wait, don't take. X1 equals to X, X1 dot M1. Okay, what I'm doing, control S F5. It is hitting me with an error saying that I need one parameter. What is saying? I need one parameter. Am I right or wrong? So by default, your methods in classes are non-static methods. What methods? Non-static methods. You write any method, any method, sorry, any parameter, control s F5, it is working. You understood now? By default, every method in mean your interpreter assumes, treats, okay, understands. By default, it is pointing that whenever you are writing any method, it is a non-static method. Okay, so one parameter is mandatory. So if you don't give one parameter, hello, I am assuming this as like a non-static method, right? So but you are not giving any one parameter also, so it is tough for me to execute is what it is saying. That's what the point you have to understand. Okay, when you assume it uh, non-static method, okay, so it expects for one parameter. If you want to make it as like without any parameters taking, then tell to it, hello mister, I don't want to give any parameters for my m1, still you have to work. If that is the case, then put at the rate static method decorator. Okay, so now you see, now control s F5. You understood? So basically, at the rate static method, when you put, your method will work even without any parameters also. Okay. So a comma b, let me give now print a, print b, let me do. Now you see, sir, I don't see, I have defined one static method in my class, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass couple of values to my static methods. So what happens, tell me, you can call static methods straight by using class name. Okay, so your m1 gets execute, 100 and 200 will be pushed into a and b, and those things will get displayed. You can see that, right? Or else the other way is you can create your class object, and with the reference variable also you can call. Understood? Right? So basically, static methods are the methods which we can call both by using class name as well as reference variable. Okay, but if, see, sir, at what point in time I have to use static method, at what point in time I have to use class method, and what point in time I have to use non-static methods, means, first of all, in all real-time applications, 99.99%, as I am telling you, you will be ending up with the non-static methods only. Okay, so so but still, you to understand types of methods, sir, I don't wanted to give any parameter. I don't wanted to give any parameter, but still my method should get execute. That is the case, follow the static syntax. At the rate static method you put, and now that method is going to be a static method. You can write down without parameters as well. Okay, right? Okay, sir, I wanted to give parameter, but you know what, I can also I also wants to execute my method with the class name as well. Getting my point? If you wanted to have your method get execute with your class name, put at the rate class method syntax, and then call it out with the class name as well. Understood? So just give a study of these points thoroughly once again, so that you will understand it much better, right? So the red class method and the red static method is what two couple of decorators which we are using to work with the class methods and static methods, but these are like hardly we use in real time. Most of the times we end up with only non-static methods. The point what from last half an hour or so, whatever the discussion we had about the methods, what the important message which you have to take is, self-writing is not mandate. Just concept is, first parameter is object indirect address. We can represent it with whatever the name we want. Okay, so that is what the concept of methods, and with this we are done with OOPS.